Welcome to History Tastes, a channel about food history and ancient flavors. Today we will talk about one of the most savored indulgences of the grilling season. The history of steak is a narrative woven into the fabric of human civilization, a tale of gastronomy that spans from the primal to the sophisticated, reflecting both cultural evolution and technological progress. In this video, we will carve through the annals of time to explore the savory story of steak, from its ancient roots to its contemporary incarnations. Primitive beginnings. Our journey begins in the mists of prehistory, where our ancestors, armed with the newfound mastery of fire, first experienced the transformative power of heat on flesh. The earliest steaks were likely rough-hewn slabs of meat, seared over an open flame, succulent and smoky. This primal method of cooking not only made the meat safer to eat by eliminating pathogens, but also more palatable and easier to digest, ultimately becoming a cornerstone in the diet of early humans. Domestication and ancient delicacies. As humans settled and agriculture developed, the domestication of cattle emerged as a revolutionary step. In ancient civilizations, such as those along the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia or the Nile in Egypt, cattle were initially valued for their labor. However, their role as a food source soon became apparent. In these societies, beef was often a luxury, consumed by the elite or offered to gods in ceremonial feasts. Hieroglyphics and cuneiform tablets bear testament to the esteem in which these ancient cultures held cattle, both as sacred animals and as sources of nourishing sustenance. The Middle Ages and the rise of steak. As we gallop into the Middle Ages, the European landscape was dotted with pastoral expanses ideal for grazing. The term steak itself finds its roots in this era, derived from the Old Norse steek, or to roast on a spit. During this time, the preparation of steak became more sophisticated, with different regions developing their own methods and traditions. In England, the consumption of beef, particularly roasted oxen at communal feasts, became a symbol of prosperity and communal celebration. Revolution and expansion. The advent of the Industrial Revolution marked a turning point for steak. Technological advances in agriculture, transport, and preservation transformed the steak from a privilege of the few to a more widespread culinary delight. The development of the railways enabled the efficient movement of cattle, while innovations such as refrigerated cars revolutionized the meat industry, allowing fresh beef to reach burgeoning urban centers. The American influence and the steakhouse. The American frontier provided an expansive canvas for the story of steak to unfold. The cowboy became an enduring symbol of the open-range cattle drives that fed the nation's appetite for beef. In the 19th century, cities like Chicago and Kansas City became hubs of meatpacking and distribution. This period also saw the birth of the classic American steakhouse, a temple to the art of grilling steak, with a menu featuring an array of cuts that became embedded in the American culinary lexicon. Global flavors and modern sensibilities. In the 20th century, steak's journey became a global voyage. The Argentine asado, with its emphasis on communal outdoor cooking, celebrated the pampas-raised beef. In Japan, the tradition of raising Wagyu cattle produced a steak with unparalleled marbling and flavor. These international influences, along with the innovations in cooking technology and the rise of celebrity chefs, continued to elevate the status of steak as a culinary art form. Japanese mastery and Kobe intrigue, the Zen of steak. The story of steak takes a particularly fascinating turn when we delve into Japanese culture, where the reverence for quality and technique transcends the mere act of eating. In Japan, steak is not just food, it's an art form, and the meticulous care given to cattle breeding is world-renowned. Wagyu, which translates to Japanese cow, is a term that encompasses several breeds known for their genetic predisposition to intense marbling. The most famous Wagyu is Kobe beef, which comes from the Tajima strain of Japanese black cattle raised in Hyogo Prefecture. The legend of Kobe beef includes tales of cattle receiving massages and being fed beer, although these practices are more myth than standard procedure. What truly sets Kobe and other Wagyu beef apart is the strict grading system that assesses the quality of the marbling, the color and brightness of the meat, its firmness and texture, and the quality of the fat. A high-grade Wagyu steak is so rich and tender that it melts in your mouth, a testament to the unparalleled dedication to quality. The Japanese approach to cooking steak also reflects a deep respect for the ingredient. Teppanyaki-style grilling, where chefs prepare the meal on an iron griddle in front of guests, showcases the steak as the star of the show. Meanwhile, in upscale steakhouses, steaks are cooked with precision, often served with minimal seasonings to let the natural flavors shine through, accompanied by simple sides such as steamed rice, pickled vegetables, and miso soup. Korean sizzle and social grills. The community of steak. Korean cuisine offers another lens through which to view the cultural significance of steak. Here, beef plays a central role in social and familial gatherings, with Korean barbecue being a beloved tradition. Unlike the solitary steak experience often found in Western cultures, Korean barbecue is inherently communal, centered around a grill placed at the middle of the table around which friends and family gather. The Korean appreciation for beef can be traced back to historical periods when beef was a luxury item, often reserved for special occasions. Today, popular cuts for Korean barbecue include bulgogi, which is thinly sliced and marinated beef sirloin or tenderloin, and galbi, which refers to marinated beef short ribs. These dishes are typically marinated in a mixture of soy sauce, sugar, sesame oil, garlic, and other ingredients, infusing the meat with a balance of sweet and savory. The interactive nature of Korean barbecue allows diners to cook their meat to their preference, dipping it into an assortment of sauces and wrapping it in lettuce leaves with garlic, green peppers, and a dollop of samjang, a thick, spicy paste. The result is a rich tapestry of textures and flavors, a vibrant culinary experience that is as much about the company and conversation as it is about the food itself. The Japanese and Korean contributions to the world of steak underscore the diversity and cultural significance of this beloved dish. Whether it's the luxury of a perfectly marbled Wagyu steak in Japan, or the convivial atmosphere of a Korean barbecue, steak has the power to cross cultural boundaries and bring people together. Each culture adds its own unique flavor to the story of steak, enriching our global culinary heritage, and reminding us that, despite differences, there is a common thread that can be found around the dinner table. As we continue to explore and celebrate the many facets of steak, we honor the universal language of good food shared with good company. Into the 21st century, the narrative of steak is confronted with new chapters. Ethical, health, and environmental concerns have led to a re-examination of meat consumption. Movements advocating for grass-fed beef, humane animal treatment, and sustainable farming practices have gained traction. The culinary industry has responded with creativity, introducing plant-based steaks and lab-grown meat alternatives, aiming to reconcile the love for steak with the imperatives of environmental stewardship and animal welfare. Conclusion. The future of steak. The essence of steak is much more than the simple act of cooking beef. It is a cultural artifact that has mirrored humanity's technological advancements and shifting values. From fire-kissed chunks of game on the prehistoric savanna to the precision-grilled, ethically sourced cuts of today, steak has remained a symbol of both nourishment and celebration. As we continue to grapple with the complexities of modernity, the history of steak challenges us to reflect on our past and to contemplate the future of our culinary traditions. The story of steak from pasture to plate is a juicy journey that continues to evolve, promising new flavors, new experiences, and new understandings of what it means to savor one of humanity's oldest indulgences. It's curiosity time. Let's learn together a bunch of interesting facts about steak. The world's most expensive steak. The title of the most expensive steak in the world often goes to cuts of Wagyu beef, particularly Kobe beef from Japan. These steaks are renowned for their intense marbling and buttery texture. A single Kobe steak can cost hundreds of dollars in a high-end restaurant, and the cattle are treated to a luxurious lifestyle, including special diets and sometimes even massages to ensure the highest quality meat. The Maillard reaction. That delicious crust on the outside of a perfectly seared steak isn't just for looks. It's the result of a chemical reaction known as the Maillard reaction. This reaction occurs when amino acids and reducing sugars in the meat are subjected to heat, leading to the complex browning and rich flavor development that steak aficionados love. It's a perfect example of food chemistry at work. Cattle breeds and steak quality. The breed of cattle can significantly impact the quality and characteristics of steak. Angus, Hereford, and Charolais are some of the most popular breeds for high-quality beef production. Angus beef, in particular, is highly sought after for its marbling and tenderness, which contribute to a more flavorful steak. The invention of the steak knife. The modern steak knife, with its serrated edge, was invented in America in the 1930s. Before its invention, diners would struggle to cut through tougher cuts of meat with standard table knives. The introduction of the steak knife revolutionized the dining experience, making it far easier for steak lovers to enjoy their favorite dish with grace and ease. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and write in the comments. What cut of steak do you like the most? Thank you for your time, and don't forget to stay curious.